Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding you to love life, trade it. What is going on, folks? Happy Monday. Happy Monday indeed. Hope you're all doing simply sensational and had an amazing weekend. Some good stuff happening out there. Today is definitely, and it's a Monday. Everyone loves Monday. Weekly gaps, daily gap, a lot of great things out there to talk about. So let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? Broader market, SPY, realistically just kind of hanging out still. And I would love a pullback to about 320-ish. I don't know if we're going to get it. We could, we might. I'm slightly hoping that we do, but if we don't, it's okay. This trend is still, it did break. So that's why I think that we're most likely going to be on the more choppy side than really, really, really strong side. And I'm interested to find out what happens. Robert says, I think we need a gap down for some capitulation. The buying hasn't been with much conviction. I can agree on that. I mean, realistically, we need something. We need this. A sideways action, just a rest would be great. But here's the story. Story is the really important piece. We did get a very, very nice gap up today in the markets on a daily and weekly chart. So this was strong. And, if we come over here to the weekly, you got a high wave candle last week and you have an inside candle so far. I got some puts in case we drop. I got a lot of calls and shares on stuff in case we go higher. So let's find out what we do. And the larger we pull back, the more excited I will be. And I'm pretty pleased about it. Because right now, a pullback to this 320-ish level would be about 10%. And we haven't really had that yet. That would be a nice retracement, but we don't have to get it either. We could, we might, we will see. The Qs, right? The Qs is at 275, also has a high wave candle last week, also got a gap up on a weekly chart. Trend is still a little bit bullish, but again, I'm just keeping a soft eye out for some bears to just majestically one day come in. Maybe we'll get some selling. It's really, really strong for sure, the actual trend. But what I'm looking forward to seeing is a bigger pullback if it ever happens. Again, if we don't, that's fine. Old resistance, new support right here. We've had a very, very fast drop, and we could get, and probably we'll get something like this, which means that day trading will be amazing. Swing trading will be okay if you can find something that looks different than the broader market. Long-term trading should be relatively boring. And option selling, AKA volatility sales, should be off the charts. You should have a lot of opportunity to get some opportunity to sell some premiums out there. IWM still flat, but really pretty strong candle, if I do say so myself. And moving averages, like if you turn them all on a daily and monthly, you can see tons and tons of support here on the monthly chart. Or if we change this over to a weekly, we also have loads of support on the weekly chart. So there's a lot here for us to kind of chop around, bounce around of, and again, eventually, I think, continue higher. That's my thoughts on the broader market. Questions, concerns, thoughts, or opposing views before we hop into this little list that we got. All righty. Jake Neal says, what do you think about GDXL? Limit at 59, stop loss 55, limit sell 65. Good find, my friend. Good find. I like it. Looks pretty. Okay, so let's go look at CHWY really quick, CHWY. So this is the first on the list for today. And what I'm expecting on CHWY most likely is some sort of pullback into old resistance, new support. So here's the old resistance right about here. So that's the area that we're at. And again, we'll kind of see if it does anything particularly interesting. We'll find out if it bounces off of this level or not. But the old IPO resistance is like 41. So that's kind of the price that I'm relatively intrigued to see if it's going to do anything super fast or not. But coming into a nice little trend on CHWY, trend looks something like this, right? We're coming down to that buy zone. So if you were looking at picking up some shares of CHWY and you're like, well, I didn't want to do it at 70, and now it's at 50. This could also be a spot where you could consider selling some puts if you want to own some shares of CHWY, or doing something like that. It's entirely up to you. But right now, a lot of you, if you're in shares, probably just going to wait it out. If you're already in, and just kind of let it do its thing. Here's the weekly, and the weekly, what I'm looking at is you got this really decent hammer. Again, pulling back into it with the nice trend. Obviously, some selling up here, and just interesting to see what's going to pull back. Mike says the SEC is now investigating NKLA. Breaking news on CNBC. Finally, huh? Only took him a few years. Okay, good. Restoration Hardware Holdings. So this is ticker symbol RH, AKA really expensive lamps. Lamps. I love lamp. So what we have here is we have ourselves a decent and very intriguing looking trend. This stock has been up a little bit of a lot on Restoration Hardware. Nothing too abnormally insane. I mean, for 2020, just a few 100%. So over here, it's up, the good old 400% in the last 4 months. Whatever, just real simple stuff at this point. Really easy. So I actually do kind of like these candle patterns that are coming in. I like the back-to-back hammers. I think that's kind of cool. So my general thought process on this one is going to be something like a little bit more on the bullish side, a little bit more on the bearish side. And I would kind of prefer a little bit more of a pullback, but we will just generally see if anything interesting happens with it. We'll find out. But kind of looking at something into this nature where we're going to go, okay, keep an eye on it. 1 to 2 more days. We'll see if we get in above it. Again, I would really prefer to get in lower if I can. Here's the 30-minute chart. And the 30-minute chart, something that we could do is, one of these guys, and these guys. So let it get in and then just kind of rebuy this pullback. But keep an eye on this one just as an aggressive swing trade in general. I mean, the trend is unarguable, and apparently people are still just loading the boat on some Restoration Hardware. That trend, I mean, just yelling at you at the face. That thing is bullish, bullish, bullish. Mike said, I use their catalog as a step stool to reach items in my upper cabinets. Oh, man. So that says that either Mike is short or that those things are very big. Very big, very big catalogs. Yeah. Oh, by the way, just to bring this up, and I don't know how many of you I will see in person in the future, hopefully every one of you, but I am 6'4", so that you guys know. So when you see me in person, there's a good chance I will be taller than you. Reason I'm bringing that up is I got told about 7 different times at the retreat, they're like, I thought you were short and fat. You sound like a short, fat dude. So just letting you all know in advance, I'm not short and I'm not that fat. But yeah. Anyway, just throwing that out there. If you see me in person, I'll be the tall dude with the RL shirt and the epic beard. All right. So throwing that out there. Oh, you guys are cracking me up. Anyway, good stuff. I like it. Restoration Hardware. Oh, man. All right, cool. Next on the list is REKR. REKR. REKR Systems. I feel like this is Robert's favorite stock because he likes to say REK. Get wrecked. REKR Systems. Sounds like one of those toys on the Rugrats. By the way, I also really do like this new pattern where if you have the multi-time frame on, it'll also search hammers on bigger time frames. Isn't that cool? I think that's cool. We can look at it and go, oh, that was a hammer on a monthly chart. Two of them back to back in a row. Robert says, this company will wreck your account. Oh, man. Well, I can say this. It's blown through some resistance. It is at $6.48. The volume on this one is not super incredible. And, I mean, you did have 2 million shares come in yesterday, and you did have a gap up, and you do have some hammer candles right here. So if you're playing this, I get it. Just have a stop in place and don't do it with any kind of large size, because who the heck knows what this company's going to do. You know, I could, with the volatility, I mean, who knows? But I really do like the trends. I like the moving averages. I like all this curvature motion right here. And obviously, we're just in some sort of short-term distribution phase. So if you're looking at REKR, I'll just kind of buy the pullback. So Litecoin, which is requested, ticker symbol LTCUSD. So we're going to pull up Litecoin. And as most cryptos right now, it had the big pullback in late August, and it's just been doing absolutely nothing for the last 2 weeks. That's pretty much what Litecoin and the other cryptos doing. It did pull back a lot. You do have a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern, but now you have this trend line that's intact. So cryptos love head and shoulders patterns, and this was one. So you had the head and shoulders pattern, really big drop. Could this consolidation be building for a larger drop down? Absolutely. Could it be building for a larger break up? Absolutely. Anything that is chartable, has a heartable, and we can trade this if you know how to. Joseph says, I may or may not have a few coins. Yeah, man, I can dig it. It looks good. Again, there's a lot of support here, so we just kind of get to find out. The big challenge, the main challenge is how this thing has just been absolutely dropping. Jay says, compare it to gold. It is, yeah, gold has absolutely been going higher over the last 2-3 years compared to Litecoin for sure, and silver. So it is good news that it broke out of that like directional trend. Like that's a bonus, but you still have this overall trend to contend with. So it's doing its best to make some version of higher highs and higher lows, but it just hasn't quite gotten there yet. So if I come out here to a weekly chart, again, Bitcoin's still the strongest one of all the coins as far as just actual technical charts go. But if you're looking at another trend line, this one goes all the way back to here. So we are still engaging and interacting with a decent support. So we got a support, we got a resistance. Again, if I come all the way back and draw it, we have some resistance levels. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if and when we can ever break out of this long-term downward slope. And again, big question is when or if on Litecoin. I think it's more when than if on Bitcoin. Again, that's just my opinion. So that is LTC. I also had a request for Monero, which I think is XMR. Let's go check out Monero. So Monero, again, is going to look pretty similar, but does have some strength. Here's the daily chart, and daily chart, if we're looking at it, so let me just kind of zoom out a little bit. What I do like about it is when we had this really massive crash, it fully recovered relatively immediately. I mean, big crash, and then weeks later, it closed above that. That's a really, really strong signal. You had a massive sell-off. You had some selling. You recovered the selling. We closed above it. We've retested that price a few times now. And yeah, Monero, I mean, I would say if it does this candle is similar to this selling event, and we close above that bear candle in the next 3 or 4 days, then that old resistance will become a new support. So look to buy the pullbacks around 91. Low 90s on Monero. Joseph says, there may be some wizard magic involved with that coin and projects I may or may not be working on. Yeah, man, Monero is really interesting. They have a great documentary called Banking on Bitcoin on Netflix, but they need to have some more Monero documentaries. This one has some really, really cool principles behind it. So, yeah, man, it is. We are in an accumulation phase of that. We can see, and we can see with a large degree of certainty. We've been consolidating for a while, and that while is building a lot of pressure. So I think it's more when than if for some of these coins. And Monero definitely does one that has a lot of following. Okay, how to request for ticker symbol CX. And CX, this is one that's just been in a downward trend. Look at this downward trend. Bang, 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 bang. Just getting honestly destroyed for a very long time, and it is finally broken out. Now the question is for how long? I don't know. This is the daily chart, and the daily chart, we're looking pretty good if we turn on some of the moving averages. So we're kind of getting it back above some of the monthly ones. You did have a really, really good breakout on the 10th. I think we looked at that on the 10th as well, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't take this particular trade. I have no position in it. But I really do like the volume. I like the candles. You have 4 white candles in a row, and it all started from the bottom. Now we're here with this really cute morning star reversal and your new white soldier, one white soldier candle right here. It looks pretty good. So CX doing its thing, hanging out, looking for some type of dip buy on this one if given an opportunity, and we'll play it out from there. Jay says the IRS is trying to hack Monero and is offering a prize. Ooh, I bet there's a lot of people trying it. Good luck, but hey, someone's going to be trying really hard. Okay, cool deal. So that's CX. Next on the list is AYX. And AYX does show a little bit of weakness, right? It keeps getting beat up. So I want everyone to be aware of that, I absolutely see what we're seeing. This is one that we can buy some protection on at some point. You do have some moving averages on the weekly chart that we're coming involved with. So these blue and purple dashed lines are the 100 and the 105 on the weekly. We have traded down to them before and bounced there before. And we have a smaller double bottom here. Now we're coming back into this price. So this one will most likely, I would assume, require a broader market bounce for it to really, really get rocking and rolling. So just know that that's why I do have some puts on the Qs, just in case some of these tech stocks start showing some weakness. This is a retest gap, bear candle gapping down, and we have retested, and we can go lower. Although I do think eventually this gap will fill. It's just going to take a long time. Do have some leaps, the 160 leaps for January 2022, and also got some shares. So got some time in my hands, watching and waiting around here to see what happens, but it's going to be an interesting ride, and most likely will require a broader market bounce. Now you do have a small 2-day inside 2-day pennant pattern on AYX, which I like a lot. And so if it does gap up tomorrow and has a little bit of bullishness, that could be fun. Dropbox, which is ticker symbol DVX, is doing absolutely nothing. Nothing. Even after this hammer on the weekly, it still has done nothing. So if you're looking at playing that hammer on a weekly, this would be the support resistance for it, which is about 18. I get why you would be looking at being in this trade. I understand. I mean, from a COVID play, they're going to need space. They're going to need things to do, right? They're going to have more and more customers piling in on it. But I'm still just kind of baffled why it hasn't really done much. So if it's not going to do a lot now, I guess the question is, when is it, you know? So this wouldn't be a position I would be too heavily invested in. If you're going to be playing it, just kind of tiptoe at it, throw some sticks and stones and see if it bounces at any point in time. All right, Apple, ticker symbol AAPL, and it's Apple. So you got a little bit of a cute hammer today. Today is a new white soldier candle. This is also bouncing off of the 50 EMA. I don't think I have the 50 EMA on here, but I can always add it. Let me just change this one to the 50. All right, there it is. So there's your red lines. So this red line's the 50 EMA. So we just traded right down, blink, threw in a little bit of a lower shadow with that 50, and you know, we'll see what happens. Robert says it looks bleak with the raindrop. So here's the raindrop chart pattern. So even though you have a bull candle on the daily chart, you see it has a lot more selling volume. So again, I do have some puts on the Qs because the market, they do look a little bit weak. But with that being the case, if we have a lot more strength tomorrow and or Wednesday, you're going to have some bears that are really upset. They're all crying, and we're just going to kind of bounce a little bit higher. Because in my opinion, you know, even though we should get more of a pullback at some point, and we most likely can, Apple is down 20%. I mean, that is a little bit of a lot. And if we get something like this, we could still get one of these guys, October, November, and then we can go higher. That's still a very, very strong possibility. It's just going to take time. We'll see. We'll have to feel it out. We'll have to feel it out. But I will be waiting. Terry says tomorrow is the Apple event. Yep. Robert says we did the math the other day. For every penny move on Apple is a $170 million in market cap. Wow. That is amazing. Amazing. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Incredible. Jay says, can I have just 1% of that? Dude, me too. Come on. I want all of us to get just 1%. 1% of that penny. I just want one. Man. Amazing, amazing things. That's for sure. Definitely some good pullbacks. Okay. Let's see. That's Apple. So here is Roku. And Roku is already kind of gapping up a little bit after hours, I think. After hours. Let's go into a pre-market chart. Yep, so you're getting a little bit of a gap up on Roku. What looks nice is it's kind of a double bottom a little bit, you know, in the markets. And it does look like it's going to be gapping up above the previous high of the day. So I'll keep an eye on Roku tomorrow, just simply because right now it looks like it's working on gapping out above the high of the day. And today was an inside day candle. So if we're going to open above 162, it could be good for a day trade. But again, you know, we'll have to see. We will find out. All right. So anyway, Chief says, if you have time, can you explain the raindrop chart? They have tons and tons and tons of videos and articles on it if you're interested, but really, really easily put, Chief. It's actually not that bad. The raindrop chart for trend spiders, the chart shows the volume. Like, even though the candle closed, so for example, you can see today's candle closed with a bear volume bar. It's like a market profile for shares on what price the most volume traded at that day based on the candle itself. So like today, this one has a lot more selling than what it actually shows. And so the fact that we could be gapping up above that could be a lot of bear traders trapped tomorrow. Jacob says, TrendSpider seems like they utilize data really well. Yeah, they do. Again, they got a few things to work on, but who doesn't? You know? So yeah, Chief, my pleasure, dear friend. Anytime, anything for you. All day, all day. So Roku could be really fun for a trade. Let me throw in the list. I will be in the morning room tomorrow. So Tuesday morning, Roku. DraftKings. We got some people in on DraftKings. Wowtown McWow. DraftKings is straight up smoking it. Good for you, team. There's a lot of traders in on this one, about 40 that I'm aware of. Also, at the retreat, we talked a lot about DraftKings, a lot about this one for multiple reasons. Number one, you had a great hammer with really good volume. Number two, you had a nice inside candle that next day. Then you had a bear high wave candle. Then you had another inside day candle. So we actually, if you might recall, we're talking about DraftKings a lot in the afternoon room on that day right there. And we're saying, hey guys, if we gap up above the next day, it looked to be bullish because we were focusing and specializing on 2-day pennant patterns while we were in the day trade section of the retreat. So anyway, that was the perfect retest right there. And then you got another one, then you got another one, then you got another one. We did set up an official trade on DraftKings that barely missed. Barely missed, and that's too bad. Bob says, such a great move. I figured if you were talking it up, it must be time to get in. Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, it was a good setup. At least I thought so. So the exact setup that we had, this particular trade did not trigger. Although, again, there's numerous traders that are doing different things. So most traders are playing this hammer there with a stop right there and got filled and you're already up an hour and a half. Some traders have calls, some traders have put sales, some traders are in with other things. But if you didn't get in, no big deal. But if you did have that exact setup that I threw out there, I think it was Friday, you can cancel that order on DraftKings. And then really just try to look to buy another pullback if you want. This is the old resistance right here. So if it pulls back into that price, honestly, buy the dip. This is a very good breakout of a distribution phase and a bullish trend in a younger company where we all know how they make money. Or at least a lot of us probably know how they make money. If we go to FinViz, DraftKings, you got not a lot of information yet, at least not tons, but what I'm interested in seeing is this number as we get a little bit more earnings, right? Market cap is large, no question. But as sales begin to increase, because again, what sports have people been betting on really the last 3 months? So Bob says, what do you think for a target? Are you in calls? You said you got in at 40.5 shares. Man, dude, hold that one until the 60s if you can. Yep, same thing with you, Edward. Just give it some time. Hold it into the 60s. Let's see what it can do. It might take 3 or 4 months, but trend looks good. Terry says ping pong and Jeremy's running time are the only things to bet on. Boy, oh boy, yeah, it's been slim pickings if you're betting on those two things. So I agree, but now we got football. Football's actually coming out tonight. Got a Monday night game. Let's see what happens. All right, cool deal. Nice, nice. Next on the list is Square, ticker symbol SQ, and Square, nice trends. You know, it's Square. So longer term, be bullish. Had a great gap today. Really good gap. Again, most of the market was a little bit bearish on Friday, and you just had this, you know, small little bearish candle with a high wave. Type in a 4 if you have a general idea on how to play that thing. Pretty simple play on Square if you were watching it this morning, and it just had a nice little pop. Sochi threw in a 4, which means that she probably played that on Square today. And yeah, the thing is, this blue line is just an old resistance, new support. So I mean, this is nice. We can have, and again, most likely will have a larger pullback at some point. So if we get one of these guys in the market and we just trade right back up, I would still expect something like that. I'm not saying it has to happen. I'm just saying looks good. Looks good. All right. Speaking of, one quick little mention just to make sure that you're all aware. The mentor groups are all sold out. We do have a new mentor on the docket, Miss Tracy Ball from the Canada area. And these current ones are all sold out, but The next round will be out and available sometime at the end of this week, early next week. So if you're keeping an eye out on re-signing up, if you did not get into a mentor group or you want to get into another mentor group or you want to re-sign up or whatever, feel free to do so. And I will be popping in to some of these mentor groups. I owe Tracy a pop in. I owe Robert Falco a legitimate pop in, and I owe Tony a pop in during one of the mentor sessions. So if you're in one of these three for this upcoming session, I will also be diving into one of those mentor groups. So yeah, I'm pumped. Terry says, Jeremy, so based on last week's performance of the market and this week so far, you are not expecting a crash in the market. That is correct. Yep. I mean, we got a 10% pullback on most things, right? Apple had a 20% pullback. Tesla had a 33% pullback. I think that was it right now. I think that was the quote unquote crash. This was me trying to time the market, selling the Wednesday before last and then rebuying some stuff now. So yeah, let's hope for the best. We'll find out. Speaking of, I'll make sure Tesla's on the list. Next on the list is QDEL, QDEL, and there's QDEL. So do have some options that got filled on QDEL. We'll see if anything comes from it, but so far, Mr. Squiggles doing it right. I like this gap yesterday. I really like the candle. And I'm super interested to see if it can take out the high of this candle. That would be, I mean, how fun would that be, huh? If we take that out, if we gap above there or close above there, but mostly, you know, gap above or open above, that could be a lot of fun. So yeah, QDEL, we'll wait and see what she does. All right, here's PETS, P-E-T-S, and Pet Med Express. Cutest of candles coming in on this one. So we're down here, and what I'm trying to figure out is if I want to get in all the way up here, if I want to try to get in a little bit of a more aggressive entry. I'm kind of thinking I want to play it a little bit more aggressive on Pet Med Express. 29 by 28, 8 by 27.89. So $2 stop loss on Pet Med. Turn on the extended hours, and yep, I like that. So pretty much just taking the breakout above those two candles, and target on Pet Med Express would really be, I don't know, somewhere up here. I mean, I would get into this one. I would stay in through the close of September unless I needed to really lock in the position or something. So I'll throw that in there, and we'll see if we can catch Pet Med on a break higher. New official swing trade. Okay. Chief says, how's the seasonality on Pet Med Express? Well, let's go check it out. All right, today is 9/14/2020. Pets entry is 29.89. Stop loss will be 27.89. And I think we're gonna play a share. I think it's a good trade based on the retest cap. Opening is not triggered yet. And we'll see if it does anything. And then I'll come over here to Pets, PETS. Let's throw in a sidebar. Seasonality. So September for the last 10 years, it's the second weakest month, but October, November, and December are the strongest. December's the strongest month by far. October and November aren't bad. So if we trigger in, yeah, October, November, December, January, be a good little ride up. So we'll see. All right, I like it. Next on the list, GLNG, Golar, something like that. GLNG, what do we got on this one? Golar Limited. Yep, good old Golar. Nice looking trend. Again, probably would be one that we'd want to buy the pullback in if we get it. And we'd pretty much just be buying a pullback into the 50 on the weekly chart we definitely have room to go higher, and we're just throwing that entry in a retest gap. So let's do it. We got stopped out on that one trade today, MAXN. So I will, that's on the worksheet, new official swing trade. Okay. 9/14/2020, GLNG looking for a pullback 10/40 with a stop loss at 9/17. Share, I think it's a good trade based on a retest gap. Opening is not triggered yet, and we'll see what we get there. Definitely buying on a pullback though, which is nice. All right, lumber liquidator, ticker symbol LL. So lumber liquidators, it did close above that resistance level. So if you're looking for a pullback or you're looking to get in on lumber liquidators, this could be a spot. So limit buy would pretty much be the high of this candle, 22.83. So 22.83 could be the limit buy, which is off the high of this candle, off these lows, off these lows. And then stop loss for whoever requested lumber liquidators would probably be just right below this pivot. And that'd be it. If you're playing lumber liquidators, also it could easily go lower. I mean, it's been a really, really steep trend since April. I mean, it's increased kind of a lot, $4 to $28. So if you're looking at buying it even lower, you could also just throw in a limit buy down here at 20 and put a stop loss at like 16 or something. If you're looking at playing lumber liquidators, if that's one that you requested. All right, Spotify. So SPOT filled some of these January 2022 $300 calls. We got in them before, and we're trying it again. They were profitable. They were nice and profitable, and now it's just buy those high. Same place that we bought them before, and we can buy them cheaper this time. And obviously, we can see that it can turn into, or could easily turn into, some type of intriguing double top. Don't know if that'll happen or not, but we do have a really good support line around 198. So if that double top really plays out and we start dropping, then I would expect it to go lower. Maybe we day trade it. Maybe we buy a put or something as a protection, trade down to 198 and see if we can pick up one more, because again, it would be January 2020. And right now I'm just legging into one of those, and then we'll see what the next one looks like. But yeah, time to find out. Spotify doing its thing. BEKE. KE Holdings. What is this one? Brand new IPO. Looks strong though. Wow, look at that Morningstar reversal. That's beautiful. What does this do? Technology software. I'm gonna watch this tomorrow for a day trade continuation. No idea if it's gonna do it, but if it gapped up tomorrow, that'd be a pretty good looking gap. Today is a new white soldier. You know, new white soldier, Morningstar reversal, shorter term, relatively newer IPO, has okay volume, looks kind of volatile. Yeah. I would have really liked to have gotten in there at 47.82. That would have been a fun swing trade. Very nice Morningstar reversal. All right, cool deal. Next on the list is Slack. And Slack is going to be on the lame side for a bit. Because again, this is a gap and go. I did not fade it that day for a day trade. I don't generally fade really strong bullish gap and goes. Bearish gap and goes. Weekly chart, again, so I thought earnings were good on Slack. I do think it could eventually pull down to 2230. It is possible. So if you got your covered calls, you got your shares, you're just sitting back waiting. I mean, really, that's all you're doing. You're just going to wait it out. If it can close above this resistance sooner than later, I think it'll fill the gap and then come back to 30, and you'll be like, all right, well, that wasn't that bad. So it was definitely down on earnings. It did have a big gap. It does have a good volume. I do think this is going to be a really intriguing play. It's just going to take a little bit of time. It's going to be a little bit choppy, and that's really it. Yeah, just going to hang out. Wix, so WIX, Wix has a bearish inside candle as well. So a lot of stocks do. This one has not hit its 100, but it is on the softer side of weak. Very nice pennant pattern there. I could easily see this coming down to the 100 and then maybe bouncing. That's a possibility. The weekly chart, it is up there. It is definitely up there. So we're trying to bounce off of the 20. We'll see if we do. Obviously, I think for Wix to bounce, we're going to need most likely a broader market bounce, just in like the cloud stocks and new tech stocks. I don't think Wix is going to move all by itself. But in reality, I mean, longer term, if you have a lot of long time horizon on this one, and you have enough time to be patient, I think you'll be just fine. But can this thing start crumbling pretty hard? Crumbly McCrumbleton? It could. The 100 simple is going to be its best active support for right now. And if that doesn't hold, yeah, it could drop a little bit. Okay, next on the list is Netflix. So Netflix, a lot of people watching this one to either A, go long, B, sell some bull put spreads, C, buy a share or two. These are the prices where I would consider picking up some shares just to kind of be in Netflix if you want to be it. If you want to be in. This is a really good support resistance, and everyone and their mom sees that support resistance. It's a very, very clear one. So if it throws in a lower shadow, good. I like the high wave candle today. I like the high wave candle. It's there. So we gap up a little bit. You had a lot of bear volume on Netflix recently. 1, 2, yeah, 3, 4 days in a row of the bears coming in on Netflix. So yeah, if it can gap up tomorrow, show a little bit of strength, I could dig it. I think that this is a decent little volatility play on Netflix. Just needs to rest a little bit. This was a strong close up here on Netflix on this day. That was taking out both of these strong bullish candles. So yeah, keep an eye on Netflix. Just waiting, watching, and see what it's going to do. Salesforce had a request for this one. Again, I don't know if this gap is going to fill, but it is a 2-day pennant pattern on Salesforce. Looks good. I like the trend. I like the perfect doji candle, inside high wave indecision candle. So yeah, if we turn the moving averages on, bloop, there they are. Let it consolidate, let it hang out, let it do its thing. But yeah, Salesforce long-term, great one. Especially getting added to the Dow. Here's your weekly chart. Weekly chart looking strong. Candles looking good. Volume looks amazing. And the bigger picture, I don't think it's an exhaustion volume, although it could be. Exhaustion volume generally means like it's going to reverse hard from here. I think because this is occurring on a weekly chart that it might not reverse since most trends go up, but it'll probably just do one of those guys. Just hang out for a while. Okay, cool. Next on the list is AES. And AES Corporation trading sideways on the weekly. Daily chart looks pretty cool. You have some consolidation. I'm kind of intrigued on this volume down here. Volume doesn't look bad. A little bit of a consolidation though. Just trading sideways, hanging out, not doing anything too dramatically incredible. Weekly chart, same thing. Big sideways trend, yeah, for a while. For a bit. Old resistance is at 15.5. So if you're looking at playing a pullback on it, that's probably where I would look to get in. Otherwise, nothing yells at me to get into that trade. All right, next on the list, DVAX. And DVAX, we talked about this one actually just on Friday, and it did gap up today. So if you were day trading this one, congrats. That was probably pretty fun. Here's the 3-minute chart. And I didn't get a chance to take this. I didn't day trade this today, but you know, you had your bearish candle, close above the bearish candle, eventually had a little bit of a bullish run. Or if you got lucky and waited long enough and played that consolidation, entered around here, the stop around here, that was a great trade. That would have been very pretty. I mean, it was a retest gap after all. So anyway, long story short, I mean, it's a nice gap, good volume. We talked about this on Friday, Thursday, and Wednesday. So it probably will have a consolidation for a few days, something like this. And if it breaks out higher, trust it. There's a lot of bears that are going to be trapped. And of course, if it breaks lower, the shorter term trend right now is bearish, and the longer term trend, it's not the most bullish thing you've ever seen. So yeah, be a little on the cautious side on that one. Okay, Walmarto, ticker symbol WMT. Walmart's Walmart. That's pretty much how I analyze that one. And the daily chart, you do have a very cute high wave candle. What I like about this candle, the low 13553, low of this candle 13555. So 2 pennies away from that low. If it was a little bit lower, that would be really cool. Here's the 30-minute charts, and the 30-minute chart. If you're playing this long, I guess you could get in bullish above 138. Here's the thing. We did close above this pretty ominous bearish candle. You did retest it, right? We broke higher, got the retest in, bouncing off of it. So yeah, if it takes out 138, you can be more bullish than bearish. I mean, it's Walmart. If you're in long enough time, you'll probably win on it. Daily chart looks pretty cool. Yeah, nice volume, nice upper shadow, nice trend, and that stock has just been on fire. They've been doing so well. Alibaba team, I love everything about this consolidation. This is so good. So you have a very, very nice retest gap here, and guess what we have done, are doing, and did do? Retesting. So you did have a good gap today, and I think you guys won very small on it, so great try. Really, really good try. I wasn't looking at anything other than Tesla today, you know, which turned out okay. Nice double bottom on BABA, made a new high of the day, and that was it. So unfortunate, not awesome, but yeah, at least you didn't lose on it, Robert. I mean, you played it almost perfect. The only thing else you could have done was exit everything. Other than that, great, great try. Try it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. This is worth watching every day as it's consolidating. A gap above here could be delightful. Good retest, good consolidation. Watch it. Ooh, looked good. All right, NKLA. So another investigation. Another bad sign. I mean, the thing is, this was a technical trader's dream, right? Buying it here. So if you have people that do nothing other than trade technicals, should be pretty good. Mike says, I just heard that the CEO bought 41,000 shares this morning. Well, see, there you go. That's a bullish signal. CEO showing belief. But yeah, it's don't invest in this company long term at all for quite some time. That's my personal trading plan for Nikola. If you want to day trade it all day. Day trade the lights off this thing. But long-term investing on it, selling put something like that, just a lot of people are thinking some sketchy things on this, and I'm in that camp. Mike says, I'm good with Tesla. Yeah, how about we just make money off of Tesla? You guys want to do that instead? By the way, I'm spoiling Tesla right now. This was such a cool move. And we're already up again post-market. Yeah. Amazing. Great close. So good. Let's go higher on Tesla. What a good pullback, huh? I mean, the pullback was big. This was not a small pullback. That was a 33% pullback. And the cool part is, if you were in the trading retreat, this sell-off was palatable. People in person were like really scared and upset and kind of terrified on that trade. And your boy Newsom, cool as a cucumber. The trading session on Monday before the gap down was, if Tesla gaps down, this is how we need to play it, and this is how much we need to buy, and this is where. So I think all of you guys are in on Tesla on the pullback. At least you should be. If you've watched one video any point in time of the last 3 months in Tesla, you're in Tesla bullish with something, and you kind of have to be. Terry says, Newsom, what do you always say going to 1,000 before the end of the year? I haven't said that one this time. I don't know if we're going to double again by the end of the year. Anything is possible, without question, man. I mean, on Tesla, sure. I'm not going to call 1,000 by the end of the year. Is it going to be higher? Absolutely. Is it going to be higher than it is today by the end of the year? Sure. So you guys know, I mean, I got put sales, I got shares, I got long calls. I'm all up in Tesla. Lucian says, is it a good idea to buy calls? Today was a great idea at some point. Are we going to hit 500 this week? I don't think we're going to hit 500 this week. No. No, I don't think we hit 500 this week. I mean, we could. And if you get called away, great. But you might remember talking about this one being a really good day to be in some calls, be in some shares. So if we gap up tomorrow, Craig, I know you have some calls that you're looking at selling. So per the plan, gap up tomorrow morning, sell some more, lock in the gains. And I know you have leaps. I know you have longer term positions. I know you have shares. I know you have covered calls. I know you have put sales. Let's make a lot of money on Tesla. What do you guys think? Sound good? Yeah, cool deal. And today was an absolutely immaculate, perfect gap on Tesla. This was such a grandiose gap. Amazing. Kevin says, well, we have an inside day tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. No. Not on Tesla. The broader markets, maybe, but I doubt it. But Tesla, I don't think so. Yeah, so just a really, really, really good trade. Phenomenal gap, good trend, and feeling good. Yeah, feeling good. Put sales, I might be buying some of these back. The October ones really evaporated pretty hard today. But we'll see. There's still some premium left. If you sold in October, you're just December 100, January 100, you're just kind of laughing. Anyway, team, Tesla, congrats. Let's keep having fun on that one. And remember, just keep in mind, know your risk. Like, what are you trying to accomplish on Tesla? Make sure you know that, right? What's the goal? What's your objective? What are you trying to do? What's your targets? How long do you want to hold? Make sure you're writing all that stuff down. Jacob says, I'm trying to buy a Tesla. I'm looking at a new Model Y myself. Yeah, man. I'm starting to do some browsing. I heard Craig wants to sell me his, though. That's what I heard. Craig doesn't want his anymore, so he just wants to sell me his. Oh, man. Robin says, my friend just got his Y. Very cool. Cybertruck. Yeah, Cybertruck's coming out. Oscar says, I have the 455 covered call for next Friday. Looks like I might get called out. Yes, you might. Yeah, man. That might happen. So, yeah. But I mean, hey, if you get called away, it's going to be for a profit, right? You can always buy back. Always get back in. So buy low, sell high. That's the point. All right, team. What do you guys want to look at tomorrow? Tomorrow is Tech Giant Tuesday. Got DocuSign, Etten, W, Lemonade, Nets, Gold, Apple, Delta, AMD, NLK, RXT, Boeing, Smile Direct. Amazon's been taken to the woodshed. Overstock, Facebook, BBY, First Solar, NUAN, ADM, TSM. Delta does look good. I agree. Pretty happy about Delta. Looks nice. Norwegian, Boeing, Autodesk, DraftKings. Cool. All right, team. Well, hey, I'm going to be here tomorrow. You all know, same time, same place. And until next time, love life, live life, trade. You guys are right. Bye.